Welcome back, everybody, to the final episode of Seaweed Brain, a Sea of Monsters podcast. Just kidding. We've got lots of interviews coming up later, but this is the final episode of Toot Toot Vroom All Aboard. We've brought back an expert to help us break down everything that this finale entails and implies and means for the future of the series. Stick around. Wow. I can't believe we're here. We've made it. We have brought back Robert AKA TheDamMediaPage, AKA TheDamMomPage, here to help us out to talk about this finale. Hello, Robert.
Hello. You might remember me from when I was on the pre-anti-penultimate episode, aka episode 5.
What did you just say?
Pre-anti-penultimate.
Yeah, so penultimate means second to last, anti-penultimate means third to last, pre-anti-penultimate means fourth from last.
You learn something new every day. My name is Erica, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Carter. Hello, Carter.
Hi, hello.
If you're all caught up on our episodes, you will know that we just got the screener for episode 8. And so Carter and I were trying our best to digest this in a critical, meaningful way. But I still feel kind of crazy. I feel like in relation to the amount of time we got with all of the other episodes, this still feels really fresh to me.
It's a big finale. A lot changes. Should we set the stage a little bit as far as what the relationship between the book and the episode is?
When we did our predictions episode, we had a feeling that by the time we got to episode 7, we were going to massively diverge from the plot of the book. Because if you'll remember, episode 7 was about the time in the book where we would have seen the party ponies show up to whisk us all out of Miami and back up the eastern seaboard. And we figured, they're not gonna CGI all of that.
You have any idea how much that costs?
Yeah, we're not gonna Deus Ex party ponies us, probably. So we figured that would be where we start to diverge, and it was correct. Although we've been making adaptive choices all season, and so this finale, I will say that Carter and I knew from last January that there was going to be this big epic battle at the end of the season where Luke was going to show up at camp, because we saw not only concept art, but still images from them having already shot this scene by the time we were on set. And so we kind of knew it was coming this whole time. But I remember our shock. We all walked into a room where there was a bunch of images and we were like, I'm sorry, is that Luke at camp? Is that Luke at camp at the end of the wall where the end of the season is supposed to go? What is he doing there? And everyone who was with us was like, he, no comment.
Yes. And it's necessary for them to do something like this for television. If we're level setting again, the way that this genre of middle grade book works is that the end is reflection, repair, collecting ourselves again, setting a stage that's going to be appropriate for the next journey, the next book afterwards. And as a television show, that maybe doesn't work quite the same way. You don't want this season finale to be reflection, repair, quietude of returning home. End of a movie, maybe. End of a TV show that is a whole freestanding episode. No. We have to do something.
We want a big epic cliffhanger that's going to launch us into season 3 with a vengeance. And that's what we're getting here. The big thing we're going to do in this episode is finish the quest, defend camp, wrap up the arcs for our 2 new leads, aka Tyson and Clarice, finishing them off here, and really set up. Finish what? Does that sound bad? What?
It sounds like we're killing them,
which we're not.
No, we're not killing them.
You're taking Clarice and Tyson out back.
We're not taking them out back.
We're tying up the narratives, and we'll see them again in 2 years, maybe.
They're gonna be back. They're gonna be back.
Dare I say they'll be back next summer?
And I'll see you again. Exactly. Clarice will be here in the winter as well. Or maybe not. She might be in the labyrinth. More on that later. The last 5 minutes of this episode, I'm sorry to the writers of this show and the producers and everyone involved that I ever doubted you, that I ever doubted that they weren't going to sit down at that table with the president of Disney Channel
that they had
and
enough
say,
hate in their hearts.
They said, we want to make history, and that's what this is. Blame Zeus in all capital letters, bolded, underlined. He is a menace. He is the villain. Everyone is using Thalia as a pawn. It's so hard. I want to talk about the flashback right now. Do you think we need to go chronologically?
I think we should go chronologically, but suffice it to say that the thrust of the episode is Thalia. That is what we have accomplished and what we are looking forward to.
Before we dive into Thalia, the engine of this episode, we're going to thank our new patrons. We have Jaden, Denray, Natasha, Alina, Megan, Rebecca, Magdalena, Natalia, Andrea, BDK, Juliana, Alex, Jordan, Diana, Stasa, Sophia, Dollar, Danya, Lone, Joyce, and Anna. Thank you all for joining us. We have a final watch party. Carter is in shock right now.
That's
because
a long list. That's a long list.
we have our final watch party tonight. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST if you want to join us for the Patreon watch party. And there'll be lots of good stuff coming up in the Patreon soon. We're going to drop our episode from our set visit that we recorded like in Vancouver to the Patreon. So there'll be lots of good stuff there. And thank you as always to our sustaining patron members, Izzy, James, Justin, Jalen, Cameron, my mother, Jennifer Ito, Natasha, Ellen, and technically Samio because I gifted her a highest tier level of our Patreon. All right, let's get into it. Cold open teaser of the flashback that we aren't going to see what really happened until the end of the episode.
We're getting slightly more information. This is the second time we've cold open on the exact same shot, but this time we are getting... How would we interpret this? Do we think this is like Luke's perspective maybe on what happened? Like we saw Annabeth the first time, Luke the second time, and we're going to see Thalia the last time?
I love that. I think that this feels like Luke because she spends that extra moment speaking to him,
we get
having
this
her
one
Orpheus
extra
moment.
Piece of dialogue. Yeah, don't look back.
Oh, don't look back. She says, don't stop, don't look back, and be prepared for anything.
Which for all the book readers, hey, and for once I didn't look back. That's something, right?
There is that. I was mostly thinking Hades Town. And more broadly, I guess, the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Luke says, what? No, I'm not leaving you. She says, listen to me. Listen, I can slow them down, but you need to protect her. And we do one last Ohana means family. We take care of our own. And I can't stop thinking, I've been on this thought train all day today about we take care of our own. It comes back in the end of this episode and we tie up our thematic idea this season of what it means to be a real hero, being in many ways about the power of friendship, about standing up for others, about taking care of our own, all in Percy's speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I just keep thinking about what it means for Thalia. In this episode, we are seeing her as a hero. And we know that she was a hero because we've been told by Chiron, by Grover, she sacrificed herself. By Percy at the beginning of the season, she was a hero. She did what heroes do and she stood up for others. But actually getting to see like what that means in relation to being anti-God, rejecting the gods and the Kool-Aid and still being a hero, all encapsulated in this phrase, we take care of our own. I keep thinking we're going to hear this phrase at the end of season 3 as well, that like as Zoe Nightshade dies and the diadem of the Lieutenant of Artemis is like passed on to Thalia Grace, that Artemis is going to like shake her hand and like welcome her into the group and be like, we take care of our own. You have finally found your safe place, your home where we as like-minded sisters are going to be caring for one another in this family environment.
Yes.
Don't let me make this entire episode about the Titan's curse.
We're going to watch the space. I think there will be more to say about that pending later people's reflections on this motif, but it's a very quick flashback. All we get is this exchange with Luke and her getting really extra British to let people know that she means business.
Come on, then.
But now it's time for us to drive back to camp. We're back in the Prius, Paul's Prius, and Percy is still where we left him last episode, sitting in the passenger seat, even though Tyson is also in the car and much taller than him, having his protagonist flashbacks, staring off into space, imagining his Thalia nightmare of her in the hood, frying him.
The best part about this scene to me is that as Percy is like stewing on the lines of the prophecy, it is not the actual literal lines of the prophecy that Kronos has said to him that he is thinking or hearing in his head. It's just Annabeth's vague approximation of the prophecy because he does not give a shit what that sarcophagus said to him. He was not even remotely listening. His mind was blank. It was in one ear and out the other when Kronos was talking to him. All he cares about is what Annabeth said in her summarized version.
My prediction for season 5 or movie 5 or however we adapt Last Olympian is that Annabeth would be the one reading out the prophecy to him to like carry this motif, but also Percy would realize in that moment, however he reads the actual prophecy, he'd be like, oh, Kronos was right the whole time. If I had given him the fleece, he would have told me the whole prophecy and he would have been correct. And I feel like that would build on the whole like Kronos being like, the gods lie, they do nothing for you, join me thing he's had going on for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see Percy realize that those lines were true. But I don't think he'll care, you know? It's still a selective knowledge. Kronos is still lying.
He's not lying. I mean, it is manipulative, but as we know, everything he has said is factually correct.
Actually, that's true. Kronos hasn't really lied at all yet.
Yes. He's been choosy about omitting knowledge and providing knowledge at times that are advantageous, but he has never, I believe, directly deceived anybody. Even with this whole Luke Thalia situation, he didn't bring it up. And when Luke brings it up, he does electro zap headache him into the ground, but he tells the truth.
Yeah. And choosing to take over Luke's body was not his first choice. Kronos, our good Lord Kronos, he was trying to just use the fleece. He didn't want to resort to body snatching. But because Luke failed, he had to.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole situation, I can understand that there is an in-character explanation you can give for Percy not thinking more about what Kronos said, which are the correct first 4 lines of the prophecy. This is like the end of it. We are not going to reflect further on the prophecy for the rest of the season. We have the first 4 lines, which are supposed to be the lines that are going to clue him in to the idea that maybe he's going to die. And Percy does not adopt that misconception, it appears, at all in this episode, nor does he talk about this with Annabeth, who I think would be able to immediately understand what the missing word is at the end of the 4th line.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 reasons we can read into why they don't have the prophecy debrief, and one of them is because they're in the car with Sally, and there's this clear vibe that everyone's like, don't tell Sally about the prophecy, like, don't stress out Mom, like, she doesn't need to know the details of what we're doing here, and Tyson lets it slip, and also because of this idea that Percy doesn't think that Kronos is actually saying the real prophecy lines and doesn't think to tell Annabeth, even though Annabeth would be like, why the actual heck did you not tell me those prophecy lines as soon as you possibly could?
I find it mostly confusing, but I respect that it is a difficult problem to figure out when in the episode we're going to have the Percy Annabeth puzzle piecing together what just happened.
The only reason we stopped the car is because Blackjack is here, which is weird because Blackjack should be with Clarice. Sally is having her this is a family story moment, thinking about everybody growing up so fast. We're gonna make it about the Titan's curse. And she's gonna say to the kids, you have a lot to carry. And Annabeth, in the first time Annabeth speaks to Sally, well, I guess she speaks to Sally at the end of last episode, but this is really like a one-on-one here. That's where Thalia is going to help. She can help Percy carry the weight, take it off his shoulders.
I don't know if I'm imagining things, but do we see like a flash of relief pass over Sally's face? Because she's just learned within a 2-second span, there's a prophecy about Percy, but if Thalia is back, it might not be about Percy anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure she can't help but be a little bit relieved. That would make sense to me. Like, even if she doesn't want to show it, you know.
Obviously, we did not have this moment in the books because we do not ever see Annabeth process Thalia's return. Basically at all, right? She appears at the final line of book 2, and in book 3, she and Thalia have had lots of time off screen together without Percy. And that's where all of that went. Here, though, we are seeing, I think, an appropriate way of filling in that gap, which is basically Thalia is still mother. And if Annabeth is going to pick somebody to be in charge, it's still her.
Yeah.
She's, of course, wrong about this. Wrong in multiple ways.
We've been talking about everybody Manic Pixie Dream Girling Thalia and putting these expectations onto her. And it's sad because Annabeth is not, you know, trying to reduce her and thinks that she knows who this girl is and she knows who her mom is and she knows what her mom will do. But Annabeth in this dynamic is doing to her what Luke is doing to her, is doing to her what Zeus and Kronos are doing to her. She's saying, it's going to be her. It's going to be her. She's going to want to do it. She's going to carry the weight. She's going to want, this is the choice she's going to make. I hate in my mind aligning Annabeth with the Olympians because I just like Annabeth so much. But it is true that in this dynamic, like Luke is to Kronos as Annabeth is to Zeus.
Sort of, kind of. The positionality of them matters though, right? Like Luke is Thalia's peer. Roughly, they are much closer in age. They see each other as equals. And so his position in recruiting her and placing things onto her is less understandable, I think, than Annabeth's, which I think we should analogize essentially to her saying, my mom is going to take care of it. She's going to know what's right. She's going to be on the same side as me. Da, da, da. Like these things that come from more of a place of safety and from the pre-coming of age experience throughout the series of understanding the fallibility of parents. Like, I think that same model maps onto this sort of opaqueness in her understanding of Thalia, and also the way that she is asking more than she can or should be providing.
This episode makes me so passionate about the fact that they included the Sirenception scene in episode 205. The fact that we get to see for a moment Annabeth's fantasy of her mother coming to save her and protect her and love her and see her, and then actually now get to see her real mom, Thalia Grace, showing up to protect her and save her.
I do, now that we're thinking through this, I have to also say that, like, I think I've come back around on why Percy isn't talking about the rest of the prophecy, which is that if Annabeth knew the rest of the lines, she wouldn't think this necessarily, right? We have selectively, unlike what has happened in the books, made Annabeth not know the crucial second half of the prophecy about how probably whoever it is going to die. She doesn't have that conception at this point, I think, which is part of why she essentially is just saying Thalia is going to take on a responsibility. She's going to make a big choice. That's fine, as opposed to saying, wishing that her adoptive mom is gonna die instead of Percy.
You think the lines that Kronos gave to Percy indicate that Annabeth would be able to interpret that the half-blood was gonna die?
100%. Like, we get up until
a half-blood of the eldest god shall reach 16 against all odds.
The hero's soul, cursed blade shall reap.
Oh, correct.
She doesn't get that one. Well, I don't know. This makes sense conditional on Percy knowing the first 4 lines mostly. But I still don't really understand why we gave Percy line 4 of the prophecy if we're not going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's for season 3. We do not resolve that question in this episode.
Or it was for the comedic beat. It was funny. Comedic timing to have him go on and on and on enough until Percy's like, I've made my decision. This is a good question, though. I do think it's a good question to ask, like, why was this the amount of prophecy that was chosen to be delivered at this point in time?
Yeah.
For the non-book viewer.
Yes, this is true. I genuinely wonder, we're gonna need an illiterate guest to come back on for this season. Somebody's lined up.
Dylan DeLuca's coming back in, guys.
But this is one of the questions, I think, is if you haven't read the books and you hear the first 4 lines of prophecy, are you, the reader, supposed to be watching all of episode 8 being like, oh, whoever it is, they're gonna die. If it's Thalia, if it's mom stepping up to the plate, she's gonna die, and that's gonna leave Percy with some other situation. Unclear. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
There's a note in our outline here about how Sally says there's a prophecy and Grover says, isn't there always? And Sally, we're playing with this idea this season, introducing early that she's a seer. Is Sally going to, like, lock in and, like, you know, try to figure out the prophecy? And I say absolutely not, because she's a mom with boundaries. You know, they said, don't worry about it. And she was like, all right, I gotta go get my MFA, guys. I'm busy here. Percy's gonna be like, hey, I need you to stay behind. She's gonna be like, yeah, I got a date later. I need to get back to Montauk. Like, I kind of dropped all my groceries for this. I was making a dinner.
Oh, it didn't even strike me that she had to drop her groceries. It's wild. So I guess we're at that point where we're starting to talk about, like, you know, Percy being like, Sally, you need to stay here while I go fight people.
Tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, from the Minotaur trauma.
Trauma. I don't know if I like this or not, because I'm supposed to imagine this Sally Jackson in 2 years' time using a pump shotgun to, like, blow away monsters. And with how easily she kind of gives in and she's like, okay, fine, I'm going to leave. I won't be a part of this. Like, obviously she can't really do anything in the battle, but at the same time, I would have liked for Sally to maybe push a little more and be like, no, you're my son, I have to protect you. And then for Percy to fire back with a, you're my mom and I failed to protect you once, don't let me do it again.
I kind of see the vision. I think this is threading that needle of where in season 5, she's not protecting Percy. She is, like, a civilian who happens to be awake in the middle of a war, and so she's just going to do something, as opposed to, in this moment, there's no reason for her to go. There's no value add. I think this would read as, like, mom overreach, as opposed to lady about town who knows what's up, doing what she needs to do.
As someone who is very sensitive to sons' relationships with their moms, this I enjoyed because I didn't feel like she was backing off so that her son could protect her. I felt like she was like, I need to back off because I know that you need me. And I cannot put myself in danger because my job as a mom is to be there for you. And so if I am somehow hurt or injured tangentially in this dangerous situation, I can't be your mom anymore. And I also have a Cyclops son now to think about. And also Annabeth and Grover and all these kids in my car. I'm responsible and I have to be there for them. So it's less of Percy being like, I'm going to protect you. And Sally being like, you're right. I have to make the bigger, wider, I'm going to protect you choice.
Yes.
Okay.
It's responsible.
No, I can see that.
It's understanding that the kids have skills that you do not have, and sometimes you need to let them.
And she has a dinner date in Montauk that she needs to get back to.
Lest we forget, she took his car. Yeah,
she took his car. Also, this road, I swear to God, this road is literally in Once Upon a Time. This has to be a road that we shot many Once Upon a Time scenes on in Vancouver.
That is just straight up the road to Storybrooke. Like, I can see
literally
Belle forcing Rumple out with the dagger in this, like right next to where they are.
We have this dream interpretation line. Sally's like, I know you're not just worried about me. There's something on your mind. Tell me, tell me, tell me. And Percy has this interpretation of the original two sides of the same coin situation. He says, I thought it was about me, two different sides of me, good and bad, but now I think it's about me and Thalia. Is this implying that he never once thought it was about him and Luke? I thought that was obvious.
I think that all of these readings are fair. It's his choice, but also his choice on the other side is Luke as much as anything else. There are any number of people who could be taking Kronos' side in this dichotomy. And I think that we are setting up the Percy-Thalia parallelism dichotomy as much as we have set it up with Luke. Right?
Yeah. If we're thinking really specifically about the imagery of the trident on one side and the scythe on the other, I really appreciate, and there's no world in which this would have been the case, certainly not the world we're living in, where there was a scythe on one side and a lightning bolt on the other. Because, you would think like, oh, it's the Titans versus the Olympians, but it's not, because first of all, F Zeus, and second
Zeus
of all,
was never in the equation. You were never even nominated.
Not even one person is siding with Zeus. Zeus does not even himself represent the gods. And for Percy, this is a family story, and it's about his dad. The Olympian he is always going to be thinking of is his dad, and that's it. That is who represents that side.
Well, we're off. That's the four of them going off into camp to figure out what happened with Clarice. In the meantime, it's time to return to the actual campers who are preparing. This is Tantalus's last moment. That's a season wrap on Tantalus. He is...
That's a wrap on Tantalus. He is blown up.
That's a wrap on him. He's being annoying, and he gets blown up to let us know that the last Draconians have begun to enter in earnest.
Back to the court of the dead for him.
I do love that it's sort of the same joke they do in the book where, like, just as he gets the ability to grab food again, Mr. D's like, okay, you're done. Snaps fingers, done.
It's a good bit.
It
was Chekhov's drumstick.
Chekhov's drumstick, for sure.
Yeah.
Chekhov's Disneyland turkey leg.
It was in 3 bits, I think. There were 2 other bits where he tried to reach for food or water, right? So that's comedy comes in 3s.
We did follow the rule of 3s. We heard him slurping on that cup. Yeah. Amazing. Perfect.
I definitely felt when we were watching this for the first time, like, we don't have time for this. Like, we need to get going.
Yes.
But that is what we should be feeling right now, because the demigods are like, hey, idiot, stop making us clean up and do this nonsense. We have a freaking war right outside of our camp. Excuse me, boomer. Like, you need to get your head in the game. Drop in for us and help us, stand up, protect, look around, acknowledge what's going on around you.
Yes. Relevantly, in the scene on the opposite end of Tantalus, we have Chris Rodriguez taking a strong stand for defending camp. We are going to find out shortly that Chris is a spy. Why do we think he's doing this? Does this moment make sense? Is he trying to scare the campers who are presently there? Does he just not know what's happening?
Yeah, they could still get the kids to surrender, right? Because if they surrender, then there'll be no bloodshed. So,
but he's not telling them to surrender. He's saying, like, we need to secure the border and not, I don't know. Like, isn't it better if you're betraying them to keep the kids busy repairing the chariot track?
My read on this situation and the later Chris situation is that he's a damn mess. I think he's a little bit of a mess. I think he's so excited for his heel turn that he's like getting everybody ready. He's like, watch this, guys. Like, they're going to be so shook by me going bad because I'm bad. And like, I roll with Luke and the cronies. Like, praise Kronos.
The parsimonious explanation for everything that Chris does in this episode is that he's not that competent. And I think that's okay.
Yeah. Or like, not that he's not competent, but that he is inherently, it's that the Luke army draws a certain kind of demigod. Much like Allison, the people who are defecting and going with Luke are loose cannons. They have a missing part of themselves, and that's why they are going to the army. There's something a little bit off about all of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Group of people who don't play well with others are not communicating well. Yeah. We do also have to, unfortunately, shout out that there is an East Asian guy standing behind Chris for a lot of this episode who does not turn to Kronos and Ethan Nakamura, we're ready for you. We're prepared. We'll see you in a couple years.
Yes, to be clear, we're not saying this is Ethan Nakamura. We know there are many Asian people in Vancouver, and therefore many Asian and mixed Asian extras. We see you, we love you, but we are philosophically thinking of you, Ethan Nakamura, every single day.
We're prepared to receive you. Yes,
we're prepared.
It's true.
For the good word of our traitor.
Setting up the rest of the battle logistics, we have a lot of people still repairing this chariot thing when Tantalus gets blown up. We have defenders at the border.
He literally says, back in my day. We are doing the metaphor.
Meanwhile, we have, this is my favorite visual, I think maybe of the whole episode, the defenders at the border led by Bronte, who are kind of shooting arrows off into hazy electrical explosions, dust, into a thick fog of Lastrygonian fireballs and barrier thunder and everything. Exhausted. They don't know what's going on. They were not really making a dent.
Dyson hears Luke's rogue army showing up by car. And when Carter and I were watching this, we were like, are they in vans right now? And then I was like, Triumvirate Holdings. I swear Triumvirate Holdings is about to be written on the side of one of these vans. And it was not. But it does make sense to me that Nero would send like Kardashian Mercedes vans to them. You know?
That is the reference. These look like reality television group of 4 to 8 people transport vehicles.
Was this not literally the car we were in, Carter, when we got driven to Camp Half-Blood?
Literally when we went to the exact same spot. Yeah, sort of, kind of.
I will post a photo of us in the van showing up to the Battle of Camp Half-Blood.
I unfortunately feel that this is not a gaggy way of rolling up to battle.
No, I was not intimidated.
Maybe that's the juxtaposition that we need, that at the end of the day, these are still teenagers in Vancouver, York.
They needed a ride.
Doing what they have to do, getting from point A to point B. Yeah.
It's the Great American Quest. Yeah.
Grandpappy Kronos got them a ride. It's okay.
Yes.
Grandpappy Nero got them some fans.
Weird Uncle Nero.
Weird Uncle Nero.
Weird Uncle.
We get 2 massive reveals in this moment. One is this whole business about the barrier not stopping demigods. I don't know if this fully counts as a reveal, because we did, if you will recall, see Luke inside of the camp stabbing the tree.
Right.
And poisoning it. Clearly he got in somehow. But we have reaffirmed that wasn't a lapse in security. That wasn't, I don't know, somebody leaving the key under a rock for him or something.
Yeah.
He can go in as he pleases. And all the demigods can go in as they please.
The only issue is the monsters getting in, which we need to put a pin in that, because we want to talk about the Battle of the Labyrinth at the end of this episode. So remember that. The demigods can get in, the monsters can't. And the reason we have to break down the barrier is so that our Laestrygonian friends can get in.
Right.
We also get the spy reveal here. If you're one of the illiterates, team illiterate, this is a new reveal for you, probably, right? Like we have not, I think, foreshadowed a traitor before this.
No, we
I
haven't.
don't believe in the TV show.
No. Was there a line?
In episode 203, when Luke is like, that's Percy's brother, Poseidon claimed him, Carter was like, is that a hint towards a spy?
Yeah.
We don't really know how much Kronos is able to intuit.
I think it's
psychically be in everyone's head all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's less that they're telling you, and it's more of like subtlety that they're implanting this idea. Like, okay, how would Luke find this out?
For sure. It should not come, I think, as a huge surprise to anyone, but we've confirmed it. And we've also, interestingly, used a pluralizer at the end of this word. There's a team inside camp, which means that when we get the Chris reveal, that is not comprehensive. There's probably more people lying in wait. And specifically when the Chris reveal is that the whole team is ready to take some prisoners of war. Also not a surprise.
That's freaky. We don't know who else is their team.
Yes. We get our final villain monologue of the season. This is Luke rallying the troops with Allison intermittently doing too much. This is, okay. Listen, we really set her up for failure in every way. This is the same thing as Tantalus that we're effectively getting here, right? We're like, we all know what's about to happen. We're all ready for this battle to happen. And what does Allison do? She reiterates instructions that we're already doing and slows down our pacing. I've had it. I'm not. I need her gone. I need the pacing to return back to normal. Parentheses, intentional.
Yes.
This works, I think, as an impediment to us. Although we are placing a lot of animus onto her. We don't really do. Royal we, speaking for all of us as a community of watchers, I don't think we necessarily hate Luke that much. We understand Luke having this full set of imperatives and goals.
Yes.
Allison is really just annoying. And anytime she's on screen, it is just to make her more annoying to everyone, including Luke and Annabeth. She really gives us the trifecta of like unnecessary information. This could have been an email, women who doesn't support other women.
Raise your hand if you thought she was going to die in this episode.
I think
All
everyone,
of us.
All of
a
us.
good chunk of people,
Everyone.
a good chunk of people who've been watching this have been like, "Oh, she's gonna die at the end of the season." And as far as I can tell, she still is kicking around somewhere.
Well, you don't know. She could be dead. We did not see the end of the fight. Schrodinger's Allison, as far as we know, going into season 3. The thing that she's pressed about, though, is the border and the tree. She's like, why don't we just take down the tree? If we take down the tree, then we can all get into camp. And Luke explains in his monologue, like, Thalia will destroy Olympus. She's the most powerful demigod alive. We need to free her from the tree. And if Allison knew about the prophecy, then she would know that we need to free Thalia from the tree. Because if Kronos says kill the son of Poseidon, then the only other option, as far as we know, because we don't know about the D'Angelos yet, is to get Thalia out of the tree. So that clears up for me that she does not have a direct line to Kronos in the same way, at least, that Luke does.
Or maybe she's just not like her, like as much as Luke and Kronos' objectives are not 100% aligned, it is possible that her objectives and Kronos' are not 100% aligned, and what she wants is to be the chosen of the new leader. To me, the reading that I had on a lot of Luke's rogue demigods is that they're not that mission driven, in the sense that they're not very precise in their actions about the strategy of let's get Kronos as early as possible, as opposed to let's only take actions that individually are of animus to Olympus and demigods who are still with Olympus. You know?
Agreed 100%. And I feel like at the end of the day, Allison doesn't care about bringing about a new golden age. All she cares about is power. And that's why she's constantly challenging Luke's authority and interrupting and being like, let's just take down the tree. That'll be faster. I think that's a better idea. And if people follow me, then I'm the one in charge here.
Yes. It's about power, and I think the true believer thing is also still at play. I think she fundamentally is like, I don't trust Luke anymore, and I don't trust Luke's plan to continually try to recruit people who aren't already true believers and make them core to our whole project here. I don't know the Thalia girl. I don't know why we believe that she, like, Luke is mentioning the prophecy, but
jealous? Oh, I don't want to be a misogynist. Is she jealous? Is she jealous?
So.
I think she's jealous. I don't think she's jealous in a romantic sense. I think she's jealous in a power struggle sense. She is like, I'm a true believer. I've been doing the grunt work, and we're just going to let some random kid of Zeus who isn't a true believer, who hasn't been doing the work, she's just going to like come over here and run everything. I don't think so. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I'm going to not stray from the true path that I've been walking the whole time, is the energy I've been getting from her.
I appreciate that. This has been a very helpful conversation for me, because I was very confused about her actions this whole episode, and I understand now. I have a much better idea.
We're gonna watch her like
this.
take an axe to the tree while Luke is somewhere off screen, maybe unconscious, and really does not make any sense if you are a rational person trying to bring about Kronos' return. And maybe she is not a rational person trying to bring about Kronos' return as efficiently.
Can you argue that anyone who's on Kronos' side is rational?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like,
it's about like misaligned incentives. I think that like Luke is always doing like rationally what is best for Luke, like maybe 90% of the time. And Allison, maybe that percentage is a little bit less.
Or it's 100% of the time if you think about the fact that all she cares about is immediate power instead of bringing about the golden age of Kronos, you know?
Yeah.
Let's take an ad break and we'll be right back. Okay, we are now back with Clarice for the first time this episode, who is wandering through the woods of Storybrooke, Maine, and she runs into Chris Rodriguez, immediately starts bossing him around. She gets shot at and turns around and is like, hey, you guys are my escorts. Here's the plan. Like, I'm locking in and I am your boss now.
I love this. This healed me so deeply to see that, you know, as a young woman, learning to collaborate with others doesn't mean that you can't still be the boss.
Period.
If you have the credits, if you have the seniority, if you have the knowledge, you're still the boss. That's what collaboration looks like sometimes, is being the boss. And she is.
Yes. Robert, do you want to tell us about Katie, no last name?
Oh, Katie, no last name.
Just so people know, Robert logged onto this call tonight with the username RIP Katie, no last name. So clearly you need to talk about this.
I feel like we don't know that she's dead by the end of the episode, but let's hear more.
Here's the thing. So like right now we get introduced to Katie, presumably Gardner. And my thing is that I find it kind of funny that fans of the show, of the books and the show have been like, hey, a great way to get more fans of the books involved and loving this show would be like intertwining more of the like smaller things, some of the side characters, some of the background stuff that's happening at camp. Bring the Stoll brothers, bring Selena and Charlie and all that jazz. And so when I heard Katie, I'm like, oh, like Katie Gardner, that's so fun. And then 5 minutes later, they kill her. And I'm like, that's not so fun. And Carter is Correct. We don't particularly know if they kill her. One of three things I guess can happen. Either A, she's dead, B, she's not dead, or C, she's not Katie Gardner, she's just some other Katie. And
That's a
I
common name.
understand I understand things like contracts and like hiring actors and all that jazz into complications. You can't constantly have the same person commit to 4 years or whatever of being background character Katie Gardner. So if by like Last Olympian they come around and they're like, oh, that Katie, that wasn't Katie Gardner, that was just some other Katie that we killed. This is Katie Gardner. I can see that happening.
Plausible deniability, flexibility.
Absolutely. Also, based on what we were talking about in episode 202, do you think this means that Demeter is Asian and also therefore Persephone is Asian?
Who else is scared? I'm scared.
Overbearing Asian mom stereotype coming in.
Specifically, overbearing Asian mom constantly telling her kids
disapproves of your husband
and hates your husband.
And hates your white husband.
Oh, you know what? Okay, let me clock back in. Let me.
So Michelle Yeoh for Demeter.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Let's see. Joan Chen. Joan Chen, are you busy?
Joan Chen. Everybody watch Dee Dee. Stream Dee Dee right now. Stop listening to this episode and watch Dee Dee. D-I-D-I. 2024.
Well, okay, I think that was that. Hard cut. Clarice is off doing her thing. Percy and Annabeth are debriefing in the woods while Tyson and Grover are walking a little bit more slowly.
This could be a time where we talk about the prophecy.
It could be a time that we talk about the prophecy, and we surely do not. It does not come up, basically at all. But what do we get here? We get them disagreeing vehemently about Thalia. In case you didn't understand Percy's feelings from his 2 episodes worth of stoically staring out the car window dramatically as an emo teen, he has some suspicions. He doesn't believe that Annabeth has her number and should be this confident about Thalia picking a certain side.
Which we, as viewers, must agree with.
Yes. I think that they are both right in this scene. Right in the sense that Annabeth's way of explaining her thoughts is fundamentally, quote, Thalia is the only thing Luke cares about more than Kronos. Fact check, that's correct. That's definitely correct. If Thalia was strongly saying, Luke, you need to come join our team, at this point, that's probably the only thing that could possibly work. Check. All right. Amazing. And we've seen Annabeth show her work. Percy has these doubts, and he doesn't know that Annabeth's whole thing this season. She's been on a self journey, and the self journey has been, what would Thalia do? She's done her math. She's shown her work to us, the viewers, in flashback.
This was her entire season.
This was her entire season without Percy.
When in doubt, remember, WWTD. What would Thalia do?
Thalia would say, absolutely not. Set some boundaries and go hang out with the lesbians in the woods.
Thalia said, you all can fight your war. I'll see you later.
Yielding.
Yes. But we don't know that yet. At this point, Percy essentially, his counter to this is that Annabeth doesn't understand what it is to choose between Luke and herself. That dichotomy, quote, you can't imagine what it's like. Can we get a fact check on that? I'm going to say fact check, wrong. Does Annabeth not understand what it's like to choose between Luke and charismatic other person who she considers to be family? I think that's fact check, false. Annabeth does understand what this is like, even as she is maybe wrong about Thalia.
When Percy is saying this whole, she'd have to choose between the two of you, you can't imagine what that's like. This is supposed to be him being like, I had to choose between saving the quest and saving you. Right? Is that the parallel he's drawing? He's like, you don't get how hard it is.
I guess. I don't know. I just genuinely feel like Percy is like making a point that we can sympathize with, but also he does not have the requisite information to be making. And that's appropriate for where we all are at this juncture as characters. We have to make a brief note here, because we'll come back to this, sort of kinda, that Annabeth at this point is like, okay, we've had our discussion, we have different opinions about this, here's the plan. Grover and I are going to go track down the Fleece, we're going to help Clarice. Percy and Tyson, you're going to go secure the border. But instead of doing that, what we get is cops. They're cop demigods who look older, they look scary. The line is, if they resist, cut them down.
Ooh.
Who would say that?
Cop.
Allison.
Cops.
Demi cops, if you will.
This is not the kind of thing that I think we've ever seen in the books, right?
No.
That like every time we kind of go rogue and do our own thing, there haven't really been that many consequences if you come back and are successful. But in this instance, the show was saying, no. those actions have to have grounding. People are going to be mad at you. And interestingly, they are particularly upset because they're like, you're not a good sister to Clarice. You all are glory hoggers. You're not trusting the process.
Yeah, because in the show, the world of camp is all based around this idea of Kleos, and the demigods are all fighting for Kleos and attention from their parents in that manner of trying to get the glory. And this is what they're trained. This is the Kool-Aid that they're drinking. I think that this flavoring of the consequences of what it means to be outlaws is also what we need to set up our big final power of friendship speech to rally the troops at the end of the episode.
I guess. I think I'm partially with you. It is also interesting that these
only
people
partially
know that
with Pam.
Tantalus is dead. It's not super clear at this point, like, whose authority they're answering to, or like why they think that the best use of their time at this juncture is to be cops and not to fight the Luke army that they all know is at the gates. But nevertheless, they log in, they finish their copness, they bring everybody in to get reported to Dionysus.
Do you think that it serves to show us how the structure of camp is like mirrored off of Olympus, and that the gods are these like strict, orderly people, like under Zeus's control? We have these rules and this is how things operate. And in times of need, we are cops and we're enforcing the rules. Because then Percy is able to stand out more as somebody being like, screw the rules. We need to stand up for our home, and like we need to lead with empathy and love and friendship as a sneaky third choice.
I could co-sign that as this. We need more of a flag that the Kool-Aid is thick and is affecting
authoritarian
people.
bootlicking.
Yes, that there are a lot of bootlickers, there are a lot of authoritarians because of Olympus.
The vibe I was getting from this whole episode is that Camp Half-Blood is like a fascist state, like under the rule of Zeus, you know?
Oh my god.
Ooh, I mean,
spicy
sorta,
take.
kinda.
Was it bad for me to say that? I didn't think that was a big deal.
I mean, I guess to the extent that he essentially imprisons his daughter indefinitely to prevent her from living peacefully in the woods away from him. Yeah.
Authoritarian is probably a better word for it, though, than fascism.
I mean, he probably does control the means of production on the rails. So, anyway, well, we got hauled in by our patrollers to see Dionysus. This scene, perfect. Tens.
No notes.
Entertaining, delightful.
Jason Manduka is out here doing his best, effortlessly as always.
The comedy lands. For me, I was giggling. And in this initial shot, did we not feel this? That he is singing his little guitar song with this cadre of young children around him. My initial reaction was, oh, he's hiding the like real young kids from war, right? Like he's being a responsible adult and like shielding the young children, sort of kinda, to the extent that anyone is a responsible adult in this world and everyone is a child about to go to war. We have our difficult discussion with Dionysus, who is basically saying like, I'm not gonna help you. You're off on your own.
I will say, I do love, because I had to look this up real quick once it was happening, Mr. D doing his whole like bit about I'm my own great. That's a song from the book, along with other classic like This Land is Minos' Land. Anyone remember that one?
I think that this scene takes a hard pivot halfway through, like maybe two hard pivots. Initially, I think what we're getting from Dionysus is, I would say, adjacent to Sally Jackson core. What we're getting is him saying like, what is the line? You kids are gonna have to start working out your differences on your own. I think that this line is both annoying to Percy and crew, but also is, I think, reflective of some kind of Sally Jackson type of wisdom, of restraint and generational transition. And he couches this initially in saying, in an ambiguous way, basically, if Kronos isn't at the door himself, I can't do anything.
Yeah, which I think also ties a little bit into this whole like built-in rule set of how the gods can't interfere really in this whole demigod v demigod scenario that's happening.
I think it's a little bit unknowable how much of it is metaphysical, like they literally physically cannot do this, and how much of it is irritating old-timey rules that they have chosen to impose on themselves. But nevertheless, it is real in the sense that he won't do it. Like, he is going to let the demigods figure this out among themselves. And I think that we are maybe in our old age sympathetic to this kind of wisdom. No? And that like we can maybe draw a line from this Mr. D through the Mr. D of the beginning of Titan's Curse, who yells at Percy about yielding and not doing the most, through to Castor and Pollux, through to conversation at the arcade while the world is ending. I feel like there's like a restrained passing the torch. Like, I'm going to teach you about what a hero's job is and how it's not just doing the most all the time. And also that all of us are not just throwing our weight around as much as we physically are able to. Maybe that's a reach, but I think it's there. This then transitions hard to he's back. Kronos is back.
Oh, we live in a society. It's hard. I mean, I actually cut, shout out to Sophia. I actually trimmed Sophia in an earlier episode saying that this season is basically the Goblet of Fire.
Look, a moldy transphobe doesn't own the story of convincing the masses without evidence that a major old threat has returned.
Period.
But with the short amount of time we're able to give this, I'm really worried that people are going to read too many parallels into this if given opportunities. And also that I feel like this is fundamentally not what this moment is about. Like, he's not trying to convince them that Kronos is back, because he's also not currently back. Right? Like, he's like maybe 50% reloaded in the coffin.
When Carter and I first watched this and Percy was like, Kronos is back, I was like, no, he's not. He's stuck in that. He's still watching One Piece. He has not finished One Piece yet. He is still playing the Grand Prix Mario Kart. Yeah, he needs some time.
The funniest tweet by far in recent history has been, after 1,000 episodes, One Piece Season 1 has ended.
Kronos is busy. He's not back yet.
To their credit, we don't spend that much time on it. It was enough time for us to kind of clutch our pearls and be like, oh, I'm scared. But what we get instead is Percy doing his full... I was also scared. I'll name that. I was scared when he began his little, like, I'm going to rouse the troops monologue, because we don't love an I'm going to rouse the troops monologue. We don't need Ben-Hur. We already
saw Clarice do it.
Freedom. Yeah. And what he gives, I think, does successfully transition out of that into something else, right? Do we agree? I came back on board with this.
I also just wanted to say, like, I think we live in a society, and also we are of a certain age, and anytime we ever mention that moldy transphobe on the podcast, somebody messages or comments like, I wish we could just not talk about that. And like, I agree. I also wish we could just not talk about it. And I think that, like, perhaps viewers who are 2+ years younger than us, people do not process things through the lens of Harry Potter. And so I want to say that, like, most people are not going to watch this and think of that, because I want to believe that, like, we live in a better society. And
I don't know to what degree that's true. I think this is an open, unresolved empirical question, because people, some non-negligible number of young people are unfortunately getting some moldy transphobia up in the air around them, which is not so good. Moldy transphobia, parentheses negative, in case you were wondering. Gee, what is the valence of mentioning moldy transphobia? It's bad. We don't like it.
Very bad.
We're speaking it out to curse it and to drive it out of things.
It does not need to be, like, as Carter said, she doesn't own anything, and it does not need to be the lens through which we digest media.
She certainly didn't invent anything. Let's not put too fine a point on that. But
a magical school for kids, that's not a brand new idea invented by her.
Oh, at all. But to recenter on Percy and the heroic speech he gives, what he's saying here is not just like, we will be great, we must be brave, da-da-da. It's not that. It is, I think, giving what we feel like Dionysus was trying to give earlier, which is the generational transition type of message, right? Like, you are the voice you've been waiting for all of your life. The story isn't about somebody else.
Can I do my best Percy Jackson and read what he said?
Yeah.
Please.
Give us a dramatic reading, Robert.
We all grew up hearing these stories about heroes. You think that story, that quest, that prophecy, it's got to be about someone else. But it's not. It's just us. There is no bigger hero or divine intervention to come to our rescue. We have to take care of our own, because that's what real heroes do. We stand up for each other. We stand up for our home.
I think those final 4 sentences are the work of somebody who understands TV and is really good at their job. Like, Craig cooked on those 4 lines saying, let me just real quick summarize the whole season for you at the end of this monologue. I'm going to combine our 2 touch points that have been flitting back and forth between our A-plot, Percy Jackson, and our, like, haunting the narrative, Thalia, Grace, Broken trio, and say that as 2 sides of the same coin as we are, because Percy hasn't, walk with me real quick. Percy has not heard the phrase, we take care of our own.
Correct. This is
saying
convergent
that.
Evolution.
He is 2 sides of the same coining, saying that of his own volition. And you can see Annabeth go,
wait a minute, hold on.
For a second. Because ultimately these 2 things are synonyms. We take care of our own because that's what real heroes do.
Well, pause. Yes, and there's a move that he makes from we take care of our own, into real heroes stand up for each other. I feel like,
yes.
because of course Sally's formulation is not take care of our own. Our own, who is our own? Our own is an insularity. Our own is defining an in-group and an out-group a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you're so right. There is a difference.
And what does Sally say? Sally doesn't say we stand up for our own, we take care of our own. Sally's line is a real hero means standing up for others. Sally is saying there is no out group. There is no in group. There's no out group.
Yeah.
Ultimate empathy. Da 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 da. Yeah, not to like Dostoevsky pill it, but like I think that these are like meaningfully different. Like
they are,
and it's reflective of where they are, right? Like Thalia is much more of a guarded. She really only has like 3 people, and she does not care about anything else.
She literally says at the end of this episode, the only demigods I care about are the 2 I brought with me to camp.
Yes, and that's going to matter. And I think we're going to see her and believe that that is true. If there are other demigods at risk, it will not really matter to her until she gets to know them better and learn to go on this journey of expanding her circle and becoming a huntress and all these things. But I don't know. Yeah, this move is interesting that Percy is starting from that place that Thalia is and expanding it out rhetorically to say like that is important, but also it's limited, and also we're doing this bigger thing here.
Yes, and I don't think he understands that even remotely. I think that Thalia knows Thalia knows very clearly what she means when she says our own. And I think that Sally Jackson knows very clearly what she says when she says taking care of others. Sally means everybody. That's why she raises Tyson. That's who she is, and that's what she wants to impart about Percy. But Percy doesn't really know that yet. Because if Percy did know that, he'd be trying to save Luke. And Percy isn't going to learn that lesson until the very end of The Last Olympian, when he realizes that standing up for others means every single other.
Yes.
Or when he realizes that Luke is his own. Or both at the same time.
And that's maybe the actual way to visualize the whole like 2 sides of the same coin thing, as opposed to being opposing forces being the same.
Yes, we are in a dialectic. We need to journey into a fusion between the opposite and same things that we are encapsulating. And with that, that's Act 1. Are we taking multiple breaks?
Yeah.
Ad break.
We're back with Herschel. It's time to fight. Act 1, we set up all our pieces. Act 2, time to cross swords, time to mess some people up.
Let's do some stunt-telling.
Immediately straight out of the bat, Luke and the crew charge the tree. They come out of that dense fog of last Dragonian smoke that we saw. Again, I was gagged. I really like this visual. How often do you see a siege where you're shooting arrows off into nothing, you're protected by nothing, so you can get surprised by people attacking you, even though you're, I don't know, cool, unique, different, never been done before. Gagged to them, hard. It's not looking good for them, right? Like, I think immediately we're able to tell, like, oh, this is not going to work out. So where does that leave everybody else? Back to Clarice.
Still running through Storybrooke, trying to deliver the fleece. We have here the traitor reveal. Again, question, what is the purpose of him revealing himself here? Could have revealed himself like closer to the tree. Does he think he's going to get there faster if he just takes it and runs? Or did he want his little badass villain moment of revealing himself and feeling really cool?
There are several things about the scene that I don't currently understand. Also, like, it's not just that he reveals himself, it's that before that, he accuses Katie of being the traitor. And along with that, introduces the idea that there is a traitor to Clarice who isn't thinking about that.
I want to say it is like dramatic, Disney villain moment of like, I am actually the traitor.
I get, is that the thing? We need to all remember that there is a traitor so we can be gagged when the traitor reveals himself. But also we, the viewer, have already been reminded that by Luke 5 minutes ago. Right?
Yeah.
I'm more like, wouldn't he want to wait to reveal himself as a traitor until like they're closer?
It's better to betray people who don't think that there's a traitor.
Yeah. I think that what we can... Yeah, I have questions, but mostly my big thing that I think we can all unanimously say here is no, Chris Rodriguez Clarice. No, we are all
This
Rugard
is how
killed.
Rugard
This is how Rugard wins. Clarice can get his ass from the labyrinth, but she does not have a crush on him anymore.
And that is on unifying the people. That's something that we can all get behind. Something for everyone.
Yes.
It's 100% going to be the case because there's no way to really have like Battle of the Labyrinth era Chris and Clarice. I can see maybe Clarice taking care of him being like, whatever.
I learned about friendship. Friendship is important. This is what it means to take care of others, to stand up for others.
I can't see her being like, oh, it was really hot when you betrayed me and you killed Katie, last name.
Absolutely not.
I could see it being friendship. I could see it being like a radical empathy. Like Grover was giving the Virgin Mary in this season. Maybe Clarice is going to be our Virgin Mary in season 4 when she's like, Chris at this point is the worst person to ever live. And yet I will welcome him back
and that's a
into our
lesson for
fold
Percy to learn
and rehabilitate him
ahead of Luke.
That's a lesson for Percy to learn. That's a lesson for Clarice to learn. Maybe Selena finds her way into the
Maybe
also because
it's not Chris who is the spy that we find and rehabilitate. Maybe it's Selena. We take Selena back to camp, and then she double crosses again, and then has to redeem herself again.
Yeah.
Oh, we're cooking.
We're trying to square this with the like television logistics of like probably Chris is doing all this because he's going to be a major figure moving forward. But I don't like, there's just not a path from where he leaves us in this episode to Clarice being a character that we root for and respect and understand to be competent at things. And also still, I don't know. I don't see Clarice being down so bad that she is still into him at any point in the future after this.
Team Rugard break. Woohoo!
Team Rugard.
Big win.
Woo.
At first, I have to say, when we were watching this, I was a little bit like, wait, why is Clarice like, we watched her 5-on-1, all those guys, like, last episode, and now these guys are getting her. But I think it speaks to the element of surprise and traitorism. And
No. That's stunt-telling. I think it's that she's down. At this moment, she is still down.
The power of
this
the
one
crush.
will allow. For me, the power of the crush, the power of I have friends now, and this is what it means to have friends. I'm going to trust everybody. Because we're going to get, like, literally in the next moment, like, after the betrayal happens, Clarice is running away with the Fleece after she got stabbed. And Chris says, quote, "You know what your mistake was? Thinking we were friends. Maybe you forgot you don't have those."
That's a sick read, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's not true.
No, it could, but like, it borders on too much, but we at a certain level, like, we do need the big bold gesture. We need to wrap that narrative up. That's her whole prophecy. She needs to get saved by her friends now. But also, I think that this line only to me works because we see her get bested in the 5v1 that we know she could have won if she were being stone cold. You know, like, there is a weakness to it, but ultimately it's going to work out in her favor because bigger picture, you need friends, etc. Right?
Yeah, I get that. Stunt-telling. Chariotus ex machina. Her real friends are going to come to save her. This was fun. Bring back the chariot. Like, Eli built that whole process trailer, designed this way to shoot the kids on the chariots. Let's bring it back.
Let's let Arian get a turn. Arian gets to join a classroom
Arian get a turn. And also, great tie-in from the books, having the second chariot race. Instead of here having the chariot race in this way.
It's great that it's Grover and Annabeth because it's the two people that she's actually had the kind of her like meaningful secret emotional friendship arcs with.
Yes, I agree.
Right? Like, they are real friends. They've seen some stuff together.
What happens in the cave stays in the cave.
Yeah, instead of a second chariot race just for the sake of chariot race, it's a race to like save Thalia's tree.
It's time for some yearning. Some good old-fashioned yearning. Luke is going to walk up to Thalia's tree and reach for it.
Yeah, it's not, I think, an exact mirror of shot angle composition, but emotionally, Luke is at the tree.
Yes.
Luke is having his Cinderella moment in much the same way that we've seen Annabeth have 3 or 4 at this point, right?
And this is what I want to see. This, after the conversation that he had with Annabeth, realizing for the first time, running it back to our conversation with Sophia last episode, Luke is not a true believer. Annabeth is a believer. Annabeth is a church girl. Luke believes in, like, almost nothing. The only thing he ever believed in, frankly, was Thalia. And that was replaced by his belief in Kronos. But now the idea that Thalia could come back to him, we need to have this shot of him at the tree, like, reconciling with what it means, the fact that she's still in there. Because he was like, he was like, where's her body? She's dead and you killed her. As opposed to believing what Annabeth wanted him to believe, that she was still in there. And so this moment of realizing, like, oh my gosh, like, my wife's not dead. She's just in a coma. This is so great. I'm so glad that we had this little moment of him processing this information, on the verge of tears.
Yes, on the verge of tears. I am so grateful that we are able to tell the story in a way where we get shots of Luke looking away from all other people and having emotional moments, and done well. That leads us to, if we don't have enough Annabeth mirrors, get ready, because Luke is going to do the exact same ritual that Annabeth does in episode 201 to let a last Dragonian giant in. They're the only 2 people that we've ever seen do this, because they're the 2 people who actually know Thalia. Maybe, I don't know, we don't literally have no backstory into this lore, and could maybe reasonably conclude that literally nobody else can do this.
I was literally going to shout out like a Twitter user who pointed this out, because I did not make that connection, but that was the first time that I saw, like, I just figured, like, oh, all the demigods can do this, but no, it would make so much sense if it was just Annabeth and Luke because it's Thalia's protection magic.
Maybe all the demigods can do it, but us seeing that it's only been Annabeth and Luke doing it really adds to the connection they have with Thalia.
Luke does turn around, I think, as he's doing it and says, watch this, which implies that he believes that other people can do it, but we don't see anybody else do it. For all we know, they wouldn't be able to. I don't know. Like, they don't have a spiritual weapon from their connection to Thalia.
Yeah, whether or not they can, like, in world, in lore or whatever, it is emotionally landing on us that it's only them who do it.
Doesn't matter to us if we don't see it.
Yeah. And we get a Skull Crusher named, which is nice.
We get Skull Crusher named, and...
Imagine if he said, Joe Bob, I give you permission to enter camp.
They should have done it.
You can't say Joe Bob. Skull Crusher is, more
it's
badass.
Not 2008 anymore.
You could say Joe Bob. It's not, hey.
We don't live in a society anymore. Not like that.
Honestly, in the alternate universe where we have to force Charlie Bushnell with a straight face to say, Joe Bob, I allow you to enter camp. He deserves an Oscar, an Emmy, give him everything.
And very importantly, he says, I, Luke
Castellan. You're so right.
I don't know. We're never going to say it right.
We're never going to say it right.
This is the first time we've heard it. Does this count as a May mention? We're putting it on the board. On the board. This is Luke having to reckon with having a heritage, having a human mom with a last name.
Because if he wanted to, he could have just said, I, Luke, son of Hermes. Actually, no, he would never say that.
He would never
say that either.
Say that.
And it wouldn't, I don't know, like, we don't know if that would work. That's like maybe not how this works. Annabeth says her full name. She uses her government last name. I don't know. I'd
love
see
to
the
ask
vision
a
for
non-book reader if in this moment they clocked the fact that that's the first time they've heard Luke's last name, and if it made them think about who's his mom at all. Because if it did, then that is worth 1,000 times over to me, the choice of putting it in there. Just to clock in one person's mind, I wonder who his mom is. Let's think about that.
When Percy hears his name for the first time in book 5, that's his reaction. Like, wow, it's weird to think about Luke having a last name. That makes me think about how he is mortal and how he has a mom who has the same last name. Wow, that's weird right before he sees the mom.
Let us put a big label on that and say that this is what the TV show is doing so well, is moving Luke's arc up earlier and telling us earlier before the final book who this boy is.
Correct.
Redemption arc incoming, guys.
With that, it's time to actually start the battle, right? Percy's going to pop over the hill. He has his armor on. Tyson's going to pop up. We're going to see everybody. It's a long, slow reveal sequence.
The music is beautiful.
We do get this amazing shot. I gag. For the shot of Luke doing the big, long, dramatic motion, pointing the sword directly at Percy. It's in every single teaser because they know they framed the hell out of that shot.
What do we think about this fight in general? Was the buildup there?
I think that the math of the TV show is that you can't have the whole last episode be conversations about emotionally how Thalia is about to come back. And so you need a set piece. And this is a set piece that makes sense. But it is unclear to me what everyone's motivations are to have this battle. Like, why is Luke doing this? Because currently, if he doesn't do this, Percy or Clarice is going to put the fleece on the tree. Thalia's going to come back and Cronos is going to be happy. Right? Are we missing something? Do they want to kidnap her?
They want to take camp. Plan A was take camp. Plan B was we don't have to take camp if we get a child of the big three to join our side. That's a powerful show of loyalty to Cronos. We wouldn't need camp. We wouldn't even need the fleece. So they're doing plan A while hoping that plan B works out. But they don't have the fleece
true,
right now.
that Thalia is contingency, but I don't know. You would think, I would think, let's use the I perspective. I would think that for Luke, the strategic correct move is to wait for them to put the fleece there, for Thalia to show up and to be ready and waiting, to be like, hey, remember me, we're on the same team again, and then we're going to go fight everybody. You know what I mean? Like, there are some moments where it looks like they're trying to stop the fleece from getting to the tree, and that is where it starts to get a little confusing. I don't remember why we're fighting, other than that we are generally on different sides.
Yes, but because there's a lot of different things happening in this moment. Like, number one,
Fleece isn't even here yet. You're right.
Yeah. First of all, we're trying to take camp as a general idea of we need all these demigods as loyalty to Cronos to help him rise. And they need to not stand in our way. Secondarily, Luke is trying to kill the son of Poseidon. So he is going straight for Percy and gonna beat the crap out of Percy Jackson. And then tertiarily, we are trying to both sides get the fleece to the tree. But at the same time, Allison is trying to cut the tree down because she's a nuisance. Not a pleasure to have in class.
There are so many questions I would want to ask the like stunt coordinators. Like, we have this instance of Percy disarmed Luke the same way Luke has been disarming him. I thought that was a nice little like,
he picks up fast.
And the move right after is also the same.
Yeah, a little bit like the student has become the master, but not quite yet. Like, Luke is still 100%, like 1,000 times better at him than sword fighting.
And Percy is still learning from him. Percy is still watching and being
Luke
like,
is
on
still
some
his
level,
teacher.
Luke is still my teacher. Exactly.
100%. I just really like that part. And then I really like how Luke is like, okay, well, swords are out of the equation. Punch Percy. Oh, that worked. Punch him again. Punch him again. Punch him again. For all my Superman 2025 girlies, 1A, 1A, 1A,
Yes,
1A.
literally. I can't wait. I was giggling uncontrollably during this moment. I was like, hee hee, yes, again. I'm a simple being. I like to watch people get punched in the face. And I like to watch people cross swords.
There's a reason why we have to end with the punching. We need the viscerality and the truth of the human body to be the core of this moment. That is the truth that will tell most greatly what is happening in this conflict.
Yes. And the impending war. This being said, it does raise questions about what will be our motivation for the Luke army trying to get into the labyrinth in the Battle of the Labyrinth. Because we are having a sort of battle inside of the barrier camp, and in the Battle of the Labyrinth, Luke's army is trying to find a way into the heart of camp in order to siege and take camp for the first time in that book.
There are still explanations that can be given about how, like there will be more monsters that can come in more efficiently if you're going in through the labyrinth, right? Like Luke is still going one by one very noticeably in this scene. Maybe the tree is going to be different because of Thalia's not in it anymore. And spoiler, there's going to be a dragon there in 6 months. But
in theory. Yeah.
In theory, yeah. I feel like we could have a gaggy explanation where the Luke Kronos hybrid can't walk through the front gate anymore and is going to try to come in through the labyrinth. I think that could be fun and compelling. Luke Kronos sits out the Battle of the Labyrinth in the actual book because he gets hit in the face by a comb and needs to recover and finish settling into the body. I don't know. Maybe that's not how it goes down.
I know a lot of people, as of late especially, have been saying Battle of the Labyrinth is their favorite book. I personally find it to be the most confusing of all of the books, and I would love to see the Battle of the Labyrinth become more of a battle in the labyrinth of Luke trying to get Nico and everybody trying to get to Nico first, because Nico is now our only option besides Percy to be the hero of the prophecy. And so somehow we angle the Battle of the Labyrinth season as less about Luke using the labyrinth to get into camp and more about how are we going to navigate the labyrinth to get to Nico D'Angelo.
Maybe, yeah. Watch the space. They haven't written the season yet, and I think that we need to think together about what it's going to look like to be gagged by an invasion of camp by Luke's army after having seen this episode.
Yes. Primarily what it means to motivate the season if we have already seen this here.
Yes. Why is everyone trying to get Ariadne's thread and or Rachel Elizabeth Adair if we
already can get into camp? Yeah. I do think that Luke Kronos not being able to pass through the border is an easy workaround. Carter and I, as soon as we watched this episode, we were like, oh my God, do we need to reread the Battle of the Labyrinth in 2 days so that we can be prepared to have this conversation?
We can give a strong pitch.
Yeah, we don't have time, but we do intend to reread it and give a strong pitch on this podcast for what we think would be the way into the Battle of Labyrinth. So that might be a fun post-season episode to work on.
Isn't that fascinating? That at this point, like, we're so set up for the Titan's Curse that, like, it honestly, these don't even occur as questions anymore, right? Like, when we had that line earlier about, like, Thalia is going to take the weight off of you, like, everything's teed up. Like, that, honestly...
We are so ready to launch into the Titan's Curse.
But the Battle of the Labyrinth...
This is me catching take the weight off of you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch that double meaning.
That's what we meant by
that line, and we both said, no, that's not going to happen in either sense, right? She's not going to take the sky, and she's not going to take the prophecy.
As in Thalia says, I have boundaries. Wow.
Yes.
Battle of the Labyrinth aside, Luke saying you were never the one, it was always Thalia. Highlight of the episode to me. aside from the last 5 minutes, this is my favorite, maybe my favorite line of the season. You were never the one, it was always Thalia.
And this is why we do adaptation, right? This is not within 10 yards of anything that could have happened with the sequence of events that we'd set up in the books. And yet, this is the obvious, inevitable culmination of...
This is the truest Luke moment. The truest Luke moment we have yet seen. You were never the one, it was always Thalia, goes to decapitate Percy Jackson. Because Luke is the greatest love story never told.
Luke goes to decapitate Percy, trident, that we've seen in like every trailer for season 2.
Yeah.
It's like another one of those big money shots.
Shot from above, different angle, all the sound cuts out except for the ringing of metal.
There were definitely a lot of people who were clamoring and being like, oh my God, is it Poseidon? And then
I was one of those people. I was absolutely positive that it was going to be Poseidon, knowing he was coming into this episode. And we've done Tyson Ex Machina three times already this season.
Kind of a lot of Tyson Ex Machina.
Which is fine. I mean, he should come in and save the day. That's like what he does, and he's the brother. But I think that it was just 2 seconds too long for me to have thought it was Tyson. I was like, whoa, we're really holding on this trident. It's going to be a big reveal of someone we've never seen before. And I was like, it's going to mimic Annabeth's mom coming to save her in Sirenception when Poseidon comes to save Percy.
It does mimic Annabeth's mom in the sense that both times it's an audience fake out. In both times, I think we are trying to, they're setting up you, the watcher, to fail and believe that one of the godly parents is going to come save them. And in both cases, they're like, that you need to check yourself. That was never going to happen. We are going to save ourselves.
Unless there's a Titan directly at my doorstep, I cannot intervene.
No.
This is the actual proof of the pudding of that whole Percy dramatic monologue that we got to rally the troops, right? Like, it has to be us. We have to save ourselves.
Only we can stop climate change.
That being said, I feel like this crossing also is meant to implicate some sort of dramatic tension between Tyson and Luke. And I mean, it's literally us.
It's literally us physically getting to see the trident and the scythe in a single shot.
Yes, yeah. Like, we know the backbiter turns into a scythe, but it's not currently.
It's curved.
It's slightly curved.
You couldn't use backbiter to harvest grain.
You don't know what I can do.
Oh my God. And then shout out to Luke. Shout out to Charlie Bushnell. Shout out to Luke, whose last scene in the entire season, this entire episode, is getting yeeted by Tyson off to God knows where.
This is where they lost me. Unfortunately, not because I can't see Luke take a brilliant, delightful stunt tumble, because we all need to be humbled. I don't think it makes sense for us in this world that Tyson can essentially one-on-one deck Luke like it's nothing, and we're just gonna... I don't know. Am I wrong for this? Obviously, Tyson is physically stronger, but I was expecting there to be, say, like a team-up, say a reaffirmation of a collaboration versus solitude type of lesson that we've been getting throughout this. Maybe it's 2v1.
Well, I think the team-up is the fact that it's Tyson teaming up with Percy. You wanted like Tyson and also Grover.
I feel like it's not a team up because Percy is useless on the floor and Tyson single-handedly golf hits Luke out of camp without basically, I don't know, thinking about it or sweating or
we did watch him yeet Polyphemus off of the cliff.
That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. But at the same time, I don't know.
It works for me because it's Tyson coming in to save Percy because Percy has friends and Luke does not have friends. He only has followers and also subordinates who maybe are getting a little bit not so subordinate. And he doesn't have the power of friendship on his side. That being said, I do think Luke would have gotten right back up had we not all gotten shot with lightning in this moment, you know? I don't think that would have been the end of the fight for Luke. I think he would have tumbled and then come right back in. I don't think this was like a one shot.
Yeah. Well, what we get instead is A, the chariot arriving, and B, Allison shooting Annabeth in the chest with an arrow. Does this feel like the culmination of a long arc? Allison's really been terrorizing this 13-year-old child for many episodes now.
Similarly, if Thalia had not come out of the tree, I think that Percy Jackson would have killed Allison.
This is the moment where I wasn't that strongly thinking about, to be honest, whether or not Allison was going to live or die. It wasn't that important to me coming into this episode. But after this, Allison is, at this point, rallying the troops, taking the axe to the base of the tree, which she mysteriously has. She prepared. She was ready to cut that tree down. Why else would she have an axe? She's a child of Apollo. It doesn't make sense unless she was already planning her mutiny. And also she said the thing about trying to kill Luke at the end of last episode that we never resolved. She planned this, right? But at this moment, so like Annabeth is injured. Percy has the fleece. He makes this big show of stabbing it on the spear. beat here. We were kind of first watching this. Anyway, I think most people thought this. Right?
I think a lot of people must have had this thought as well, that Clarice was going to javelin the golden fleece into the tree by way of stabbing through Allison, nailing her to Thalia's tree, exploding Allison as Thalia transforms back into a human girl, and killing her in the process.
That's maybe a little too not Disney friendly to do.
When we think more about it, maybe it wasn't gonna happen. But the angle of the shot as Clarice is throwing that spear and Allison is right in front of the tree, we were kind of like, oh wow, Disney is taking the big swing.
Knock out two birds with one stone. Go for it.
Dying, right? Like, I don't think it was inevitable that with the shows being paced the way it is relative to the books, that we wouldn't start having people die now.
However, I do think it is critical that we don't see anyone die in this episode, because the first person who we have to see die is Bianca. We have to save our cards. We have to save our first actual child death for Bianca in the Titan's Curse, because that is the watershed moment where everything changes. And it will not land the same if we javelin straight through Allison into the tree, even though it would have been fun.
No, I think this is a decision that makes sense. Yes. We were just genuinely reintroduced tension to our viewing experience.
Yes. We also thought that Percy was going to stab the fleece and split it in half.
Shout out to everyone on social media who was like, oh my God, Percy's going to stab the fleece in an attempt to like prevent Thalia from coming back. No, that's not what he's doing. He's going to stab the fleece and be like, okay, we got to javelin it to the tree. Clarice, hey, it's your quest to finish it.
But this moment also is weird and long enough that I think you're supposed to be confused. Like, you're supposed to be like, oh, his fatal flaw. We've seen this mistake before. We've seen Mean Girls the movie. What's going to happen?
This whole time that they're talking to each other, I was like, yeah, this is a great moment at all. But like, there's a fight actively going on around you. I'm surprised no one is trying to take cheap shots. Where Allison has yet to be stabbed or whatever happened to her at this point. Why isn't she knocking another arrow back and taking out Percy Jackson?
Yeah, it is giving a little bit plot armor of why is nobody from Camp Half-Blood trying to fight the people who have their backs turned to everyone and are chopping the tree down? Why is nobody trying to come steal the fleece that we've all allegedly been looking for this whole time, which has just arrived?
Nobody else understands that Thalia is going to come back. A camper looking at them taking down the tree, they think that tree's already done for. They're not thinking much about it,
But
the barrier's already fallen. I guess so. They know about the fleece. That's true. But also, if the fleece gets to the tree, then it'll be fine. It doesn't matter if they're cutting it down. I don't know. Also, they're busy.
Yeah, people are occupied. It's true. Battle, fog of war.
But also, Persebeth, let us not glaze over this Persebeth moment of setting up the rules and then watching them work, where we talked about fatal flaws. We saw Percy rescue Annabeth from her fatal flaw because they are fatal flaw interlocking partners, greatest love story ever told. And then when Annabeth was out of commission, Percy acted way too hard on his fatal flaw, gave the fleece to Luke, sacrificing the quest. Now Annabeth is back, and Percy has to make a decision. Am I going to once again sacrifice the quest to give the fleece to Annabeth? But Annabeth is here, and so she interlocks fatal flaws, and she says, absolutely not.
She's conscious this time. She said, put the fleece on the tree.
And it works. Yay.
A little too quickly for my taste, where like I would have liked it.
You didn't want an insta reveal?
I didn't want the instant Thalia comeback. I wanted maybe like a short pause where everyone's like, oh, it didn't work. Fighting kind of resumes. And then we get like a gigantic glow and then Thalia comes back. It was really
a little fake
fast
out?
for me. A little fake out. It was really fast for me that like it was like 5 seconds, the fleece is on, and then all of a sudden Thalia starts gurling out of the tree, and her first words are like, hear my words, never.
I really liked it because it felt pacing wise like fight. Luke's punching Percy. Luke gets tumbled out. They're taking down the tree. Fatal flaw action. Clarice finished the quest. Throw the javelin. Big button. Thalia's back. Like, the timing of it worked for me.
It is a pretty tight sequence, and everything is good tie-up of something that we've been working towards. Yeah.
When I first watched the episode and we finished the battle, I was like, whoa, there's still so much time left. Like, I thought the battle was going to take a longer time. But, in my like thinking ahead towards the Battle of the Labyrinth, I did not want this fight scene to be the entire episode.
Yes, at all.
Because this is not the battle at Camp Half-Blood. This is the battle at Thalia's tree,
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point about scaling and perspective. Yeah. Also, like, what we really care about is what Thalia's whole deal is going to be. And okay, I think we are on record, right, as saying that we thought this was going to happen midway through the battle, right? That like at some point we're going to start actively fighting for Thalia to be on our side of the battle, which does not happen. It is the culmination so that Luke doesn't see this. He doesn't get the chance to pitch her, right? Like
Luke's somewhere at the bottom of the hill, like unconscious or whatever after Tyson threw him.
I think that my biggest like desire of this episode is that we had gotten to see Luke one more time and checked back in with him post Thalia reveal, whether that's him licking his wounds on the Princess Andromeda, back in the Mercedes van with the rogue demigods, you know, having a conversation with Kronos, freaking out about Thalia being back, looking like running down the hill, like having to retreat, having seen the face of Thalia again. I wanted to feel like some kind, but I understand that, you know, we're going to find out next season.
My ideal scene is Luke back on the Princess Andromeda, groveling before the sarcophagus and saying, "Thank you. You did it."
Yes. Thank you for bringing my wife back.
Yes. And like doubling back down, right? Because we need to follow him on that double back down journey. Like, thank you. This is everything I've ever wanted.
You were right.
Get her.
Yes.
She will be on our team.
We would get that scene of like, oh, you're right. You actually come on our team. And this would definitely be maybe like Kronos being like, never doubt me again, never question my authority again. And that would like, lead more into a more willing Luke when it comes time to, okay, Luke, I need somebody to host me while I'm coming back to power.
I need somebody to trap Annabeth under the sky. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Maybe he's a bigger believer. Maybe he's willing to
take more. We can assume it happened. We can know in our hearts that it's happening right now.
If it were actually shot in the episode, some heavy hands are okay. But
that's okay. The CGI transformation is amazing. She looks amazing when she shows back up. And most importantly to me, is that she looks like a teenage girl who is like distraught, afraid. Yeah. She is a distraught, afraid, vulnerable teenage girl in this moment who is like, honestly, almost on the verge of tears, saying never, like so frustrated with her dad, which is really, really important to me. It really, 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 really matters to me to have girls and young girl characters allowed to be strong. And like we've been talking about Thalia as the mother of this nuclear family unit this entire season and how she's so mature, and that Tamara as an actress is like, really, really gifted with this insane, like grounded maturity, even though she is so young and she reads as like this old soul. But at the same time as that, to also be able to juxtapose and counter that ancient energy with the fact that she's just a girl. She's literally just a kid. She is very, very terrified. She does not want to be your pawn, you know, and she is having a moment of reminding us as soon as she comes out of the tree, she's not like, yeah, screw you. She's like begging to be heard and begging to be listened to. Yeah. And it felt so realistic to me and so powerful to see this girl who's like punk rock and has this punk rock armor, like terrified, you know, absolutely scared.
Teen is someone who's begging to be heard. And who's not being heard.
Who is not being heard. And that frustration, that girlhood frustration, I felt it the second that I saw her eyes show up on my screen. And I was like, oh, that's Thalia Grace.
And she immediately electrocutes like half the people there.
And it was so satisfying because we've seen this shot over and over again of Walker, you know, dropping to his knees and falling sideways, but then getting to see the mirrored shot of Thalia also dropping to her knees. I was like, ooh, two sides of the same coin.
Yes. Ooh. Everyone at this point was like thinking like, oh, he's falling in battle to Luke. But like, no, it's just like friendly fire, which really is not going to help Percy's anxieties about like, oh, Thalia's back. Are we going to be on the same side or are we going to be enemies kind of thing?
Yeah. We're building the anxiety. And that's the end of the battle.
That's the end of the battle. We need to quickly address Percy, Poseidon, Tyson scene.
This is one of the shots that we talked to Jules about. Shot on the beach on the way to Whistler. It's Poseidon. It's actual Poseidon time. It wasn't his trident, but it is his dream sequence of not being dead and not being awake either. Okay. I have to say this. Did his outfit not look British Imperial Navy coded to anybody else combined with the accent?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
This is a scary vision of Poseidon.
The double-breasted pea coat.
Yes. The collar on the blue pea coat, the way it was kind of stiff and curved and standing up was not giving classical pea coat. It was giving scary. He is not particularly chill. He is giving like stern, older guy who's going to lay down some bats on you. And he does.
Yes.
I think that this is like one of the middle grade book tropes where after the adventure, if you're going to have an adventure afterwards, some adult authoritative figure has to just come in and connect all the dots for you so that you feel soothed and you're ready for the next thing, and you have the sort of plot mechanics and logistics prepared to understand what the challenge is going to be next time. To an extent, we need some information. The information that they choose to give here is interesting. It's the great stirring, and specifically we have him say, quote, "The Titans walk loose from their prisons."
All of them?
Yeah.
Some
we
of
don't
them?
know how many or which ones or like why.
I guess we'll find out next.
I guess we'll find out next season. I did enjoy Tyson showing up in the dream.
Humbling Percy by saying that Poseidon needs his son beside him and wasn't talking about Percy.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm team humbling. I think, like he had a good day. And let's rein it back in. Yeah. Tyson's great. We love Tyson. Who actually saved Percy?
Tyson goes into his like little emotional moment of the episode. When I was on the streets, I prayed to Dad for a friend. He gave me a brother. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. But also Poseidon, scum of the earth, dirtbag dad. We don't forgive you in this house, no matter how hot
we do
Toby
not
Stevens
forgive
is.
That's what I was
don't
thinking this
forgive you
entire
looking
scene.
like a British imperial officer. That's not the outfit of forgiveness.
I was feeling bad when he came to Sally in season 1, and we knew that he was, trying his best. And in this scene, I was like, God, you are not the option. You are not my side of the coin. Absolutely not. Your brother is Zeus. You really think you're all that different from him? Like, I am not convinced right now. Not convinced. I like the love line. I basically said this line along with him, I feel like, when we were watching.
Yes. Exactly.
There are forces more powerful than the will of the gods, and that force is literally Sally Jackson. I like that. I do. However, I'm sorry. You can love Sally Jackson and not have caused this damn mess.
No.
Yeah.
Ever heard of effective force of birth control?
I don't know.
Ever heard of effective force of birth control? Not buying it. We do not forgive you. Put that collar down.
Yeah.
When Poseidon's like, I was going to tell you the great prophecy later. I'm like, girl, no, you weren't. You're like, I was waiting for a good time.
An unfalsifiable hypothesis? I bet. Likely thing to come from you.
100%.
We should get really close to seeing what it looks like when this particular CGI Cyclops combined eye cries. It's very watery, and I was very excited to see how the symmetry math calculation of the CGI was going to work when a tear comes out of one corner of one eye, but also they're merged.
Daniel is such a good actor. I knew as soon as he walked into the scene that he was gonna deliver
those mouth movements. That mouth was moving.
The mouth acting, the honesty, his face is pink because it's clearly 20 degrees in Canada when they were shooting this. It was beautiful. Daniel Diemer, I hope that you are on my TV screen and movie screen forever. I want to see Daniel in everything. He is so freaking good. Put him in everything. Go watch the half of it. Brace yourself.
Yeah, we get never underestimate yourself. We got brace yourself. He fell off. Poseidon, at this point, whenever he's trying to actually have a conversation with Percy, he gets vague, he gets unhelpful, and this is what we always knew him to be, right?
And he has to be vague and unhelpful because of the rules. But also be a cool dad.
Pay your
break the rules.
Well, he has to be cold and unhelpful because that's how the plot has to go. He needs to be bad because we need to know that we need the sneaky third option.
Poseidon, pay your child support.
Also, let me be clear. Dionysus isn't breaking the rules. Poseidon broke the rules the second he had Percy Jackson. You know what I'm saying? You already broke the rule.
Break the rules to create mess, but not to solve it?
Yeah.
Likely story.
Just
what's up with that?
Break the rules a little more. It's fine.
I love that Percy is putting the pieces together, that something is fishy about Thalia coming out of that tree and it's not making sense. What really happened? In the book, the brace yourself note is effectively referring to Thalia, but we don't know it when we hear it being said. We don't know it when we read it. And so knowing in this moment that Poseidon is saying brace yourself about Thalia, directly to Percy, it's so good because it sets her up as this crazy force of nature.
Scary.
And the song,
it's true.
The soundtrack, literally the way that the music shifts from the Percy, son of Poseidon horns to this super mysterious, confusing, pulsating, quick notes. And I immediately went to the soundtrack, and this song is called Brace Yourself. Oh, it's so excellent. And then we get to lead into the infirmary reunion from here.
Percy wakes up from the dream. He drools in his sleep. Great trio moment.
So cute.
This was so
Loved
cute.
it.
Very well shot. We needed it. With that, it's time to tie up a few loose ends. This is basically what the whole section of the book is. We're going to do all that quickly because it's a TV show and we're efficient. Grover coins the term cronies. Clarice is prepared for her labyrinth thing. We've checked her in the box. She had a great arc of friendship this season.
And similar to Tyson closing off him in the scene before, there's this one great line that really puts a little nice cap on the end of her arc. Chiron put me in charge, and then she says, I could use you, both of you. Friendship. And then a cute little not you to Grover. Because what happens in the cave stays in the cave.
Yeah, because she knows that he needs to go do something else. She supports his mission.
Pan.
Yeah.
I do love how Percy, he's like, okay, well, we've had our cutesy little moment. Just say, shut up, Jackson. And then she has a pause and she's like, shut up, Jackson. And then they walk away. I'm like, friendship.
Yeah. Satisfying.
Friendship takes many forms.
But now.
Okay, Chiron's back, y'all.
Chiron is back. And let us say, we've been Chiron haters. We've been on the record as Chiron haters. And what were we in this moment? Vindicated. This is the proof. We have always been right. He has always been a flop, because how are you going to turn it around if you haven't been a flop? He is here saying, let's read the line. I've always tried to heed the will of the gods and to be an example for the demigods that I train and care for. I can no longer do both. He is saying it. He's saying, you see these hoops? Sneaky third option. Zeus is not the way. And I'm going to break it down for you.
This was immensely important to me, and I have to go back to my apology at the beginning of the episode. I apologize to everyone who works on the show for ever doubting you, because one of the questions that we asked the showrunners was, why is Chiron so damn busted, right? Like, why is Chiron so busted? Why does Chiron say this vague information to Annabeth and then's like, can't even know what he can't know. Yeah, like, oh my, like, what the heck? And it's very bothersome. And Craig, I think it was, gave an answer at the time that was like, like, he's feeling a lot of pressure.
Kind of evasive.
And I feel literally so vindicated that it really stood out to us that Chiron was being aggressively busted so that he can aggressively apologize. This is like, maybe my biggest vindication of this season is feeling like, Chiron was in a massive flop era.
Nasty, bad to children.
Yes, it was noticeably bad, his behavior at the beginning of this season. And now it's time for what really happened. Innocent bystander.
This setup, so satisfying, because where are we? We're at that night on Half-Blood Hill. We have the third version.
Thalia flashback, hashtag Chiron's version.
Yeah.
The Chiron cut.
It is the Chiron cut. Yes. What are we seeing here? He's watching from the sides.
Innocent bystander.
I'm happy for you. That...
It's the best one yet.
Chiron surprisingly says that he's ready to shoot in defense of Thalia. This is not behavior we've seen from him before. This is already letting us know, like, okay, this is different Chiron. This is Chiron who's actually doing things and taking stands. And what does he see? He sees that there is a conversation. We've kind of been observing this, right? We've seen this shot of, from the distance in profile, the Furies walking up to Thalia on foot. They're not being aggressive. They're not running. They're not flying. It looks like they're having a conversation because they are having a conversation. What are they doing? They're revealing from Hades Zeus's real tea. What does he want? Why is she here? What is he asking her to do and to bear? And it's Zeus who gets them.
Whoops, they said too much. Zeusy boy gotta come in with the lightning.
And why would Hades want Thalia to know this information?
Because he knows that Zeus is trifling. And he, I think, probably also doesn't... I think he doesn't want it to be Thalia.
Is he trying to protect Thalia? Is he trying to protect Nico and Bianca? Like, obviously he's trying to protect Nico and Bianca and prevent this from being them. So how does delivering the information of the prophecy to Thalia in this moment somehow protect his own kids?
Dare we say it's kind of Hades' version of brace yourself?
Yes, but why is he saying it to Thalia, who's not his child?
He could also just be being a good uncle. Like, Hades is
I think
sometimes.
that is absolutely definitely a valid answer.
And like, one reading of this could be just that, like, he believes that she needs to have this information because she's about to turn 16 and no one has talked to her about this.
Yeah, he's like, whoa. How old is my niece again? She's 15 3/4. Can Megan Mullally please go up there and tell her what the heck is about to happen? Because I've been abandoning my kids in the Lotus Hotel and Casino for their whole, okay, here's what it is. I've been abandoning my kids for their whole lives so that we could avoid this war. And if you're telling me that I lied, kidnapped, and hid my children for decades, and now you're just going to let this happen? Absolutely not. We need to get a wedge in there. Go send Megan Mullally.
And I think
Could be
probably, like, if Hades is going to understand somebody, it's going to be the punk kid, right? Like, what we see in the scene is that Zeus can't parent her because he doesn't understand what's going on. But
nasty.
Hades would, right? Like, the way that you reason with someone like this is by reasoning with them. You're not going to authoritarian your way out of her making the right choice, operative word, as to who should be in charge and like renting. Like, I don't know. I think this is just a relatively common Hades W strategic victory.
An absolutely common Zeus, huge, massive L, overbearing father. This scene is written so well. Craig, it's too late. I heard what they said. All lies. That you want me to fight some war for you to fulfill some fake prophecy. The prophecy is very real and you must be on the right side of it. I thought it was all lies. Oh, I am a girl. I am a person who used to be a teenage girl with a father. I was also once a teenage girl with a father who spent much of my years poking holes in my lawyer father's little argument.
A better litigator than a teenage girl, period.
The teenage girl daughter of a lawyer, which is Thalia.
Trapping him in the lie. The whole gag is that he's not even trying. Really. It's like such a half-hearted lie because at the end of the day, he knows what he's going to do. He knows that she's going to be on his side or else. Period. Right?
Mm-hmm. And they really gagged the family story of it all. The way that they framed this scene as I am your leader and also your father. I have tolerated this rebellious phase long enough. You're nearly 16, a dangerous age, and for a daughter of Zeus. I have never felt more strongly that those layers that are big layers of family story and
political
big
story.
Magical fantasy were more clearly right on top of each other. Like they are absolutely interwoven and enmeshed here. And it is so satisfying. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful work. Really well done.
Yes. He is the most frustrating, horrifying character ever.
Absolutely terrifying.
Just like he was at the end of season 1. I think every season we're going to end with Zeus being the ultimate eldritch horror, showing up in like black. And with this, a word again for the theme. Zeus's theme is the worst, most terrifying. This like hyper major, hyper open choral, like da, 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 like chromatic nightmare fuel of oppressive, beating you over the head.
Once again, to him not knowing how to parent her, he tries to pitch to her Kleos, which is utterly ridiculous because all Thalia cares about is having a home, having a safe home is the only thing that she cares about because that was something that Beryl Grace did not give to her. And Zeus can't understand that. Zeus does not have a single bone of Nostos in his body. And he thinks that the only way to get through to her is Kleos, which is the way that he's been ruling his kingdom and feeding Camp Half-Blood Kool-Aid to all of these other kids. Glory, glory, glory. It's all about glory. Like, you want people to worship you. You want people to fear you and want to be with you.
Exactly.
And she says, I don't care about that. I care about my interpersonal relationships. I care about my home. I care about being safe and feeling protected with my family, my chosen family, which he cannot understand.
Period. Yeah.
The only demigods I care about are the two I just brought here. I see now that was a mistake, so I'm going to get them and we are going to leave. This is one of those moments where she reads so much older than she is. And I was thinking so aggressively of Zoe Nightshade in this moment, which I should, because she's about to take Zoe Nightshade's job. This is Zoe. I am calm. I'm collected in the face of danger. I am in charge here, and I'm going to go get my girls.
Exactly.
I make a decision, and goodbye. And that is it. And he says, Thalia Grace, you will not walk away from me. She says, hear my words. I don't want to be your daughter. I will never be your weapon. Do you hear me? And then bam. It is absolutely stunning. Not only are Zeus and Kronos making her a weapon and a pawn, Annabeth and Luke are weaponizing her in this season. And as she wakes up, she's going to find out that these forces are still acting upon her. And she's going to be punk rock. And she's going to say, screw you, screw your binary system. I am no one's choice. I am no one's weapon. I'm no one's pawn. I'm no one's savior.
Yeah.
I'm running off into the woods with the lesbians. Let's go, lesbians.
Ooh. It's also really awesome to see that her last word before Zeus treeified her was going to be never, and her first words out when she gets untreed were hear my words never. So I want to imagine that the whole 6 years that she's been like a tree, she's been like slowly mentally processing through the word never, and when she untreed, it was like 2 seconds for her.
Yeah. And we get to see what she would have done to Zeus, which is this massive like outburst in every direction of her magical blue lightning. She was going to get him.
Are we also hearing a little bit in the scene? We've heard it earlier as well, but in the scoring, the relationship beginning to appear between the Fleece theme and the Zeus theme.
Layering. Every layer on top of
Powerful
each other
stuff.
in this final scene. It's so good. And once again, we live in a society, and I was once a teenage girl with a father. Like, this scene is the valences of what it feels like to be in an argument with your dad.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. It is so scary to be mean to your dad, but sometimes you have to be.
And using such precise language about not being heard, echoing through everything.
It's the not being heard. And as somebody who used to like cry every time I had to have like a one-on-one conversation with an adult man, just because I was, even though I wasn't scared, but I was somehow internally, I was very scared, like walking into like office hours. Again, the vulnerability is so important. I was thinking a lot of Suki in this moment. I was thinking I'm a warrior, but I'm a girl too. Like, we have to have these things existing together. So good.
It reminds me of that Sarah Kay poem. Do you know what I'm referring to? I think the type.
You know what? Let's quote it. Do not mistake yourself for a guardian or a muse or a promise or a victim or a snack. You are a woman, skin and bones, vein and nerves, hair and sweat. You are not made of metaphors, not apologies, not excuses.
Some men will want to hold you like the answer. You're not the answer. You are not the problem. You are not the poem or the punchline or the riddle or the joke, woman.
It is hard to stop loving the ocean even after it has left you gasping, salty. Forgive yourself for the decisions you have made, the ones you still call mistakes when you tuck them in at night. And know this. Know you are the type of woman who is looking for a place to call yours. Let the statues crumble. You have always been the place. You are a woman who can build it yourself. You were born to build.
And that's what's not happening to her because she gets turned into a tree. Right?
Oh, gosh. This was so great. And as we flip back to the Chiron debrief, Grover says, "You lied." As though he's surprised, as though he didn't undergo Chiron's personal gaslighting training seminar. Like, excuse me, 6 years ago, Zeus ordered me to lie, to say that the Furies had mortally injured Thalia, that he had spared her life, which is what we saw at the beginning of last week's episode that we remarked on was busted of him, to be praising Zeus on that hill. When you first told me about the quest this year, I realized what Kronos intended, to use the power of the Fleece to raise his champion. Very, very frightening language.
His champion just like carries so much weight. And Annabeth says his champion because she was talking about a big game knowing that Thalia would be on their side. But hearing this might have given Annabeth a little bit of fear of like, what if Thalia isn't on our side? Yeah. And then Chiron doubles down and he's like, I feared originally that champion was going to be Percy, but I was wrong.
I just love hearing him humble Percy. I feared that champion was you, Percy, but I was wrong. Sit down, yield, because it's time for Thalia to enter in a flash of lightning, double doors swinging open. She's walking forward like she is walking into a unsafe battle zone. She's like leaning with one shoulder, like keeping her eyes forward. She sees Annabeth. She says, "Where's Annabeth?" Because she is. She says, "You've grown." The exact same thing that Poseidon said to Percy, but moments ago, because she is her mother. Annabeth reunion. I'm crying. Everyone's crying. They hug.
And again, something we didn't get in the books. Very important.
Having seen Sirenception, actually getting to see her reunite with her real mom, it's all worth it. Where's Luke? Where is he? And then bam, this epic last shot. Percy like puffing up his chest a little bit. He is standing on the left side of the frame. Grover's in the middle, ready to sing the consensus song. And Thalia has her arm around Annabeth on the right. And this is our dynamic for the next season.
We're ready for Titan's Curse. We're ready for Percy to be a little annoying little stinker who doesn't respect women enough.
And then his last line being a mirror to his first line from season 2, episode 1, being like, you guys get nightmares, right? Not like mine, because mine just woke up.
This was great because I feel like Carter and I remarked, I don't know if it ended up in our episode, in episode 1 of season 2, we were like, it's interesting that dreams are the frame. Like, are dreams really that big of a deal this season? It was so worth it for the nightmare payoff. It was so worth it. calling her
reminded
his
me
nightmare.
of the good old Disney days. This is that schmaltz of the confidence in your deep understanding and enmeshment in the teenage experience that you can
Still in the
just
future
stare Camp directly in the eye and say, yes, we're going to end with this line about nightmares waking up. And you're going to like it because it's right. Because sometimes the schmaltz is right. And that's on being the defining coming of age story for a generation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a cute post-credit scene. Loved it. Percy and Annabeth rightfully taking their place as statues next to Mei Lin. Cute little wink at the camera. And
Wonderful.
We need to do Naughty Awards for the season finale. Who's got one for me?
My Naughty Award goes to Tyson launching Luke into the stratosphere a la Team Rocket style.
Sold. I'm going to say the Naughty Award for Greatest Love Story Never Told. You were never the one. It was always Thalia. Goes to decapitate Percy Jackson. This was the most Luke anyone has ever Luked before, and it made me really happy. I love violence.
Aww. I think that I am going to do the Gustav Holst Memorial Award for excellence in scoring Zeus/Jupiter for what happens in the soundtrack.
Nice.
For what really happened.
Zeus/Jupiter, because he did this bad twice.
Literally 2 days ago, I saw a live performance of Holst the Planets, and I saw Jupiter, and I was like, this is good, and it's no shade. Bear McCreary might have gagged it a little bit.
Yeah! Woohoo! Y'all, we have more questions about Battle of Labyrinth. We are really, really excited for the Titan's Curse. This has been such a special time, and it's not stopping here. Percy Jackson Wednesdays are continuing over at Seaweed Brain Podcast. We're going to release an interview with Andrew McElroy, acting coach of the demigods, next week, Wednesday, and many more interviews to come after that. If you are listening to this Wednesday morning, you can join us Wednesday night on the Patreon for a watch party. And Robert, tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Yeah, sure. You can find me on the internet, the Damn Media page, Damn spelled DAM, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Threads. Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then podcast wise, I do 2 other podcasts in the world. I run a podcast with our friend Charlie, talking about the universe. It's called The Bits. And I run a podcast with our friends Mal and Camille about both the HBO Max television drama, The Pit, and the Crave original romance show, Heated Rivalry. So that's also fun, and that's all I do on the internet.
Wahoo! Everybody go find Robert and their multitudinous podcasts. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us for our coverage of season 2. This has been a really good time. I'm really proud of all the episodes, and I'm really grateful for all of our guests and for everybody for listening. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.